The vanilla buttercream frosting gleams under the kitchen lights as I pipe the final rose onto Harper's birthday cake. 16 candles wait in a small box beside me, their wax surfaces smooth and unblemished. My daughter's favorite colors, lavender and silver, swirl together across 3 tiers that took me 4 hours to perfect last night after she went to bed. I step back to admire my work, wiping flour from my hands onto my apron. The house smells like sugar and hope, exactly as it should on a day this important. Through the window, afternoon sunlight streams across the backyard where Tyler spent the morning hanging string lights between the oak trees. White tablecloths cover the rental tables, and the speaker system he set up earlier plays soft background music that drifts through the open patio doors. Everything is ready. Everything is perfect. Harper appears in the doorway, her face lighting up when she sees the cake. She's wearing the dress we picked out together last weekend, a flowing lavender creation that makes her look older than 16, more like the young woman she's becoming rather than the little girl who used to help me bake cookies in this same kitchen. Mom, it's beautiful. She moves closer, her eyes shining with something that makes my chest tighten. You didn't have to do all this. Of course I did. I pull her into a hug, breathing in the vanilla scent of her shampoo. You only turned 16 once. She hugs me back, but I feel the tension in her shoulders. When she pulls away, her smile doesn't quite reach her eyes. What time did you tell everyone to come? 3 o'clock. I glance at the clock on the microwave. That's in 40 minutes. Why don't you go check your makeup while I finish the appetizers? Harper nods and disappears upstairs. I hear her bedroom door close, followed by the muffled sound of music from her speakers. Tyler comes in from the backyard, his shirt damp with sweat from arranging furniture in the late September heat. Everything looks great out there. He kisses my cheek and reaches for a glass of water. How many people are we expecting? I count in my head, ticking off names on my fingers. My sister Rebecca and her husband, that's 2. My brother Marcus with his wife and their twins, 4 more. Mom said she'd bring Aunt Dorothy. My cousin Jennifer confirmed for her family of 5. That's 12 from my side, plus your parents, your sister's family, and a few of Harper's friends from school. Tyler's expression shifts slightly, something I can't quite read passing across his features. That's a good turnout. We haven't seen most of them since Christmas. I start arranging cheese cubes on a platter, keeping my hands busy. I'm glad Rebecca could make it. She's been so busy with her new business venture. The doorbell doesn't ring at 3 o'clock, or at 3:15. By 3:30, Harper has come downstairs twice, checking the driveway through the front window with increasing frequency. I watch her shoulders drop a little more each time she turns away from the glass. Maybe there's traffic, Tyler suggests, though his voice lacks conviction. Saturday afternoon traffic isn't unusual. I text Rebecca first. Hey, just checking you're still coming. Harper's so excited to see you. The response comes quickly. Sorry, something came up. Can't make it today. No explanation, no apology beyond those 2 words. Just a flat rejection that makes my stomach clench. I try my brother next. The message goes unread for 10 minutes before a reply appears. Kids are sick. Have to stay home. One by one, the excuses trickle in. My mother claims Aunt Dorothy fell and she needs to stay with her at the hospital. My cousin Jennifer says her car won't start. Tyler's sister texts that her daughter has a fever. His parents suddenly remember a prior commitment they can't break. By 4 o'clock, the backyard sits empty, except for the 3 of us. Harper stands by the dessert table, staring at the untouched cake with tears streaming silently down her face. She's stopped bothering to wipe them away. Maybe we should eat some cake anyway. I try to keep my voice light, but it cracks at the edges. We went to all this trouble. Harper shakes her head, her carefully styled hair falling around her face. I want to go to my room. Sweetie. I reach for her, but she steps back. Nobody came, Mom. Her voice breaks on the last word. Not one single person cared enough to show up. That's not true. They all had legitimate reasons. Stop. Harper's eyes flash with an anger I've rarely seen from her. Just stop pretending this is okay. They don't care about me. They never have. She runs inside before I can respond. I hear her feet pounding up the stairs, followed by her bedroom door slamming hard enough to rattle the pictures on the hallway wall. Tyler pulls me close as my own tears start falling. His shirt grows damp against my cheek while the string lights continue twinkling above us, illuminating a party that will never happen. "We should go talk to her," he says, after several minutes of silence. I nod against his chest, but don't move. Something cold and heavy has settled in my stomach, a feeling I can't quite name. All those excuses arriving within minutes of each other. The coordinated timing feels too precise to be coincidental. Do you think they planned this? The words taste bitter as I speak them aloud. Do you think they all decided not to come on purpose? Tyler doesn't answer immediately. His silence tells me everything I need to know. He's been thinking the same thing. Inside, I find Harper curled on her bed, still wearing the lavender dress but with mascara streaked down her cheeks. I sit beside her, running my fingers through her hair, like I did when she was small and afraid of thunderstorms. "I'm so sorry, baby," I whisper. "I don't understand what happened. They hate me." Harper's voice comes out muffled against her pillow. "They've always hated me." "That's not true. Nobody hates you." "Then why?" She rolls over to face me, her eyes red and swollen. Why would every single person bail at the last minute? What did I do wrong? The question pierces straight through my heart because I don't have an answer. My family has always been complicated, but this level of coordinated cruelty feels like something new and calculated. "You didn't do anything wrong," I say firmly, wiping tears from her face. "This is about them, not you." But the words ring hollow even to my own ears. Harper turns back toward the wall, and I know she doesn't believe me any more than I believe myself. Downstairs, Tyler has started packing away the food. The cake sits untouched on the counter, its perfect frosting roses mocking the celebration that never happened. We work in silence, wrapping aluminum foil over platters that should have been empty by now, boxing up decorations that never got properly admired. My phone buzzes on the counter, a text from Rebecca. "Harper isn't upset, is she? It wasn't personal." I stare at the message, fury building in my chest like a physical thing. Not personal? How could abandoning a 16-year-old girl on her birthday be anything but personal? I start typing a response 3 times before deleting each attempt. Nothing I write captures the depth of my anger and hurt without descending into words I might regret later. Finally, I settle on something simple. She's devastated. We all are. Rebecca doesn't respond. Over the next 2 days, my family's silence becomes its own kind of message. No one calls to explain. No one apologizes. The group chat we've maintained for years stays eerily quiet, as if Harper's birthday never happened at all. I try reaching out to my mother, but her phone goes straight to voicemail. Marcus reads my texts, but doesn't reply. Even Jennifer, who I've always considered the kindest of my cousins, ignores my messages completely. Harper barely comes out of her room except for meals. She picks at her food, responds to our questions with single words, and spends hours scrolling through her phone with an expression that makes my heart ache. I catch her looking at social media posts from family members who claimed they couldn't make it to her party, seeing their smiling photos at restaurants, shopping centers, each other's houses. They were all free. She shows me a picture of Rebecca at some outdoor cafe with her husband, time-stamped from Saturday at 4 in the afternoon. They just chose not to come. I have no defense to offer. The evidence speaks for itself. By Monday, the hurt has calcified into something harder. I find myself avoiding my phone, not wanting to see the continued silence from people who should care. Tyler suggests we take Harper out for a special dinner, just the 3 of us, but she declines. She doesn't want to celebrate anymore. The damage has already been done. On Tuesday morning, I wake to find a text from my mother that arrived sometime after midnight. "You need to fix things with Rebecca. This is getting out of hand." I read the message 3 times, trying to understand its meaning. Fix things with Rebecca? What things need fixing? My sister is the one who abandoned my daughter's birthday without explanation. Before I can respond, another message arrives, this time from Marcus. "Mom's right. You've gone too far this time." "Too far with what?" I type back, my fingers shaking with confusion and rage. "All I did was host my daughter's birthday party that none of you bothered attending." The 3 dots indicating he's typing appear and disappear several times before his response comes through. "Don't play innocent. You know what you did." But I don't know. That's the problem. I genuinely have no idea what I'm being accused of. What invisible line I supposedly crossed that justified this coordinated abandonment of my child. Harper comes downstairs, her school backpack slung over one shoulder. She's wearing sweatpants and an oversized hoodie, her hair pulled into a messy bun. The careful attention she usually pays to her appearance has vanished over the past few days. "You okay?" I ask, though the answer is obvious. She shrugs, pouring herself a glass of orange juice. "Does it matter?" Of course it matters. I want to fix this, but I don't know how. Harper drinks her juice in silence, then rinses the glass and places it in the dishwasher with mechanical precision. At the door, she pauses, her hand on the doorknob. "Maybe it's better this way, Mom," she says, without turning around. At least now I know where I stand with them. The door closes behind her before I can respond. Through the window, I watch her walk to the bus stop, her shoulders hunched against a wind that hasn't started blowing yet. Wednesday morning brings another message, this one from Rebecca herself. The notification makes my heart rate spike before I even read the contents. "I need money for my birthday. Send $4,000 to my card." I stare at the screen, reading the words over and over until they stop making sense. $4,000? For her birthday? Rebecca's birthday isn't even until next month, and even if it were tomorrow, the audacity of this request after what just happened leaves me speechless. My fingers hover over the keyboard as I consider possible responses. Part of me wants to ignore the message entirely, to let the silence speak for itself. Another part wants to unleash the fury that's been building since Saturday afternoon when my daughter stood crying in our empty backyard. Instead, I do something that surprises even me. I open my banking app and initiate a transfer. $4, not $4,000. In the message field, I type, "Happy birthday," with no explanation, no elaboration, just those 2 words and the precise amount she requested, adjusted for reality. The transfer processes instantly. Within seconds, Rebecca will see the notification on her phone. $4 deposited into her account from her sister, who she abandoned 3 days ago. I set my phone down and wait. The response comes faster than expected. My phone rings within 2 minutes, Rebecca's name flashing across the screen. I let it go to voicemail. She calls again immediately, then again. Tyler comes into the kitchen, holding his own phone with a confused expression. "Your brother just texted me asking what's going on. Says Rebecca is having some kind of emergency." I show him the message requesting money, then the transfer confirmation for $4. His eyes widen as he reads, then a small smile tugs at the corner of his mouth. "You didn't?" I absolutely did. The satisfaction I feel surprises me with its intensity. She asked for money for her birthday. I sent exactly what I could afford after hosting an expensive party nobody came to. My phone rings again. This time it's my mother. I decline the call and watch as a series of text messages flood in. "Natalie, call your sister immediately. This is completely unacceptable behavior. How could you be so cruel?" The irony would be funny if it weren't so painful. I'm being accused of cruelty for sending $4 while they see nothing wrong with collectively destroying my daughter's 16th birthday. More messages arrive, these from Marcus. What the hell is wrong with you? Rebecca needed that money for her business. You just made everything worse. I respond to him first. She abandoned Harper's birthday without explanation. I sent her exactly what I could afford. That's not an excuse for this childish behavior. Childish behavior. The accusation stings more than it should. I'm 41 years old, not a teenager throwing a tantrum. Every decision I made regarding that $4 transfer was calculated and deliberate. Rebecca's texts start coming through, each one more aggressive than the last. I can't believe you would do this to me. After everything I've done for you. This is so typical, always making everything about yourself. I read that last message twice, trying to find its logic. Making everything about myself, I hosted a party for my daughter. I sent my sister birthday money, albeit not the amount she requested. How does any of this constitute making things about myself? The doorbell rings just after noon. I'm not expecting anyone, and Tyler's at work, so I approach cautiously. Through the peephole, I see 2 police officers standing on my front porch. My stomach drops. For a moment, I consider not answering, as if ignoring their presence might make whatever is happening simply disappear. But that's childish thinking, the kind my brother just accused me of, so I open the door with my hand trembling on the knob. "Ma'am, are you Natalie Richardson?" the older officer asks, his hand resting casually on his belt. "Yes, that's me." My voice sounds strange to my own ears, too high and breathless. Is something wrong? We need to ask you some questions about a financial matter. His partner, a younger woman with her hair pulled back in a tight bun, watches me with an expression I can't read. "May we come in?" I step back, allowing them entry into my home. They track across the carpet I vacuumed yesterday, their heavy boots leaving slight impressions. We settle in the living room, them on the sofa, me perched on the edge of the armchair, trying not to look as terrified as I feel. "Ma'am, we received a report that you've been engaged in financial exploitation of a family member." The older officer pulls out a small notebook. "Can you tell us about your relationship with Rebecca Chen?" Rebecca Chen. My sister, who reverted to her married name years ago. Hearing it spoken by a police officer in my living room makes the whole situation feel surreal. "She's my sister," I managed to say. "What kind of financial exploitation?" The younger officer leans forward slightly. "We're investigating allegations that you've stolen money from her business account and have been harassing her for additional funds." The accusation is so absurd, I almost laugh. Almost. But the serious expressions on their faces tell me this is no joke. My sister actually called the police on me over $4. I haven't stolen anything from anyone. I say carefully, trying to keep my voice steady. I sent her $4 yesterday for her birthday. That's the only financial transaction we've had recently. Only $4? The older officer makes a note. She claims you withdrew $4,000 from her account without permission. The room tilts slightly. I grip the armrest to steady myself. That's absolutely not true. I don't have access to her accounts. I never have. Do you have documentation of the transfer you mentioned? The younger officer asks. The $4 birthday payment? I pull out my phone with shaking hands, navigating to my banking app. The transfer confirmation is right there, dated yesterday, $4, with the message, "Happy Birthday." I turn the screen toward them. Both officers lean in to examine it. They exchange a glance that I can't interpret. "Ma'am, why did you send exactly $4? "Because she asked for money for her birthday." I pull up Rebecca's original message, the one requesting $4,000. She sent this on Tuesday morning. I sent her what I could afford. The older officer photographs both messages with his own phone. "Can you tell us about your recent interactions with your sister?" So I do. I tell them about Harper's birthday party, about the coordinated no-shows, about the days of silence followed by Rebecca's demand for money. The younger officer takes notes while I talk, her expression giving nothing away. "Has there been any ongoing dispute between you and your sister?" she asks when I finish. "Any reason she might want to make False accusations? I don't know. The honest answer feels inadequate. Until last Saturday, I thought we had a normal relationship. Not close, maybe, but normal. Now I'm questioning everything I believed about my family. The officers ask more questions, taking down Tyler's contact information, Harper's school name, details about my employment history and financial situation. The interrogation lasts nearly an hour before they finally stand to leave. Ma'am, we'll be investigating these allegations thoroughly. The older officer hands me a card with a case number. If you think of anything else relevant, please call. After they leave, I sit in the living room for a long time, staring at the business card. The afternoon sun shifts across the floor, marking time I'm not really aware of passing. My sister called the police on me, actually picked up the phone, and made a false report that brought law enforcement to my home. Tyler comes home to find me still sitting there, the card clutched in my hand. His face goes pale when I explain what happened. She did what? His voice rises with each word. She called the cops because you sent her $4 instead of $4,000? Apparently, she also claimed I stole money from her business account. I hand him the card. They're investigating. Tyler sits heavily on the sofa, running his hands through his hair. This is insane. Your whole family is insane. I can't argue with that assessment. The past 4 days have revealed something I've been willfully blind to for years. My family isn't just distant or difficult, they're actively malicious. My phone buzzes with another call from my mother. I decline it again. Within seconds, a text arrives. The police called me. How could you steal from your own sister? So, Rebecca has already spun her version of events to our mother, painting herself as the victim and me as the criminal. The speed of this transformation is almost impressive in its efficiency. I type out a response, keeping it brief. I didn't steal anything. The police have all the documentation. Rebecca made false accusations because I sent her $4 for her birthday instead of $4,000. My mother's reply comes quickly. You're splitting hairs. You knew she needed that money. Actually, I have no idea why she needs $4,000. She never explained. She just demanded it 3 days after abandoning my daughter's birthday party. Don't bring Harper into this. That's a separate issue. How is it separate? Everything is connected. The party, the silence, the money demand, the police report. It's all part of the same pattern I'm finally beginning to see clearly. Tyler orders pizza for dinner because neither of us can face cooking. Harper comes home to find us sitting at the kitchen table in silence, pizza growing cold in its box between us. What's wrong? She asks, her eyes darting between our faces. What happened? I tell her about the police, about Rebecca's accusations, watches her expression shifts from confusion to anger to something that looks like grim satisfaction. So Aunt Rebecca is a liar, she says flatly. Good to know. Harper, I start, but she cuts me off. No, Mom, this is actually good news. Now you can't pretend anymore that they're just busy or distracted. They're mean. They've always been mean. And now they're trying to get you arrested. She's not wrong. The blunt assessment from my 16-year-old daughter cuts through all the rationalizations I've been constructing for years. My family has always been mean. I just kept making excuses for them, kept hoping things would improve, kept believing that blood relationships meant something they clearly don't. The next morning, I wake to 17 missed calls and 32 text messages. I scan through them with growing disbelief. My entire extended family has apparently united against me, each member contributing their own version of outrage. You've always been jealous of Rebecca. From Jennifer. I can't believe you'd steal from family. From Marcus. Your behavior is destroying this family. From Aunt Dorothy, who supposedly fell on Saturday but seems fine enough to send lengthy accusatory texts now. My mother has sent the longest message, a multi-paragraph essay about my failures as a sister, daughter, and human being. She details everything wrong with me going back to childhood, painting a picture of someone selfish and vindictive who has somehow managed to fool everyone until now. I read her message 3 times, searching for any acknowledgement of Harper, any mention of the birthday party that started all of this. There's nothing. Harper might as well not exist in their narrative. Tyler finds me crying at the kitchen table, my phone face down beside my coffee mug. He picks it up, scrolls through the messages, and his jaw tightens with each screen. "They're gaslighting you," he says finally. Classic manipulation tactic. Make you question your own reality by insisting their version is truth. I know what gaslighting is. I snap, then immediately feel guilty. Sorry, I just don't understand how this happened so fast. Because Rebecca set it up. Tyler sits across from me, taking my hands in his. Think about it. The coordinated no-shows at Harper's party, the perfectly timed excuses. Your mother's message telling you to fix things with Rebecca before you even knew what was broken. They've been planning something, and the money request was probably the trigger. But why? What did I do to deserve this? Tyler squeezes my hands. Maybe nothing. Maybe this isn't about you at all. Maybe it's about them needing a scapegoat, and you're convenient. The idea feels too calculated, too deliberately cruel. But as I replay the past week's events, I can't deny the pattern. Every piece fits together too perfectly to be coincidental. My phone rings. A number I don't recognize. I answer cautiously. "Mrs. Richardson?" A woman's voice, professional and distant. "This is Detective Sarah Mitchell from the Financial Crimes Division. I need to speak with you about your sister's allegations." My heart rate spikes. "Of course," I manage to say. "When? Can you come to the station this afternoon? Around 2? I'll be there." I write down the address she provides, my hand shaking so badly the numbers are barely legible. The police station smells like industrial cleaner and burnt coffee. Detective Mitchell is younger than her voice suggested, maybe mid-30s, with sharp eyes that missed nothing. She leads me to a small interview room with gray walls and a table bolted to the floor. "Thank you for coming in voluntarily." She sits across from me, a file folder between us. "I've been reviewing your sister's complaint, and I have some questions." For the next hour, she walks me through everything. My relationship with Rebecca, our family dynamics, the birthday party, the money request. She writes down names, dates, dollar amounts. When I show her the text requesting $4,000, her eyebrows rise slightly. "And you sent $4 instead?" I nod. It was all I felt comfortable sending, given the circumstances. The detective makes a note. "Mrs. Richardson, I've examined your sister's bank records. There's no evidence of any unauthorized withdrawal from her accounts. In fact, the only transfer between your accounts is the $4 birthday payment you documented. Relief washes through me so intensely, I feel dizzy. So there's no case. There's no evidence supporting your sister's allegations?" Detective Mitchell closes the folder. However, filing a false police report is itself a crime. "Would you like to press charges?" The question catches me off guard. Press charges against my own sister? The thought seems both excessive and entirely justified at the same time. "I need to think about it," I say finally. "This has all been overwhelming. I understand." She hands me her card. "Take your time. But, Mrs. Richardson, I'd recommend documenting everything from this point forward. If your sister is willing to make false police reports, there's no telling what else she might do." Her words follow me home, echoing in my head. What else might Rebecca do? What other lies might she tell? How far is my family willing to go in whatever game they're playing? Harper is waiting when I get home, sitting on the porch steps despite the autumn chill. She stands when she sees me, her face anxious. "What happened? Are you arrested?" "No, baby." I pull her into a hug. "There's no case." Rebecca lied about everything. Harper's body relaxes against mine, but when she pulls back, her eyes are hard. "So what now? Do we just pretend none of this happened?" I don't know. The honest answer feels inadequate, but it's all I have. I genuinely don't know what happens next. That night, Tyler and I sit up late discussing our options. We could press charges against Rebecca for filing a false report. We could cut off contact with my entire family. We could try to smooth things over and return to some version of normal. Or, Tyler suggests, we could find out why this happened, figure out what they're actually after. What do you mean? Think about it. He stands pacing the kitchen. This whole thing is too coordinated. The party boycott, the immediate character assassination when you didn't send money, the false police report. They're trying to isolate you, make you look unstable or criminal. The question is why? His words make uncomfortable sense. My family isn't just angry or petty. They're executing a strategy with clear goals and coordinated timing. But toward what end? I spend the next 2 days digging through old emails and text messages, looking for patterns I missed before. What I find disturbs me more than I expected. References to money problems in Rebecca's business going back months, mentions of investments that didn't pan out, a cryptic email from my mother last year asking if Tyler and I would be willing to co-sign a loan, which I declined without thinking much about it at the time. Then I find something that makes my blood run cold. An email chain between Rebecca and Marcus from 3 months ago, accidentally copied to me. They discuss approaching me for money, debating the best strategy. Rebecca suggests waiting for a moment when I'd feel guilty or obligated. Marcus agrees, mentioning they need to time it right. I show Tyler the email chain. His face darkens as he reads. They've been planning this for months, he says quietly. The party boycott was designed to hurt you and Harper, make you vulnerable. Then the money request was supposed to catch you when you were emotional and likely to give in. But I didn't give in. I sent $4 and humiliated Rebecca instead. So she escalated. False police reports, family-wide character assassination. Tyler scrolls through the messages again. They need you to look unstable so your word won't matter when they tell whatever story comes next. The implications are staggering. My family hasn't just been mean or thoughtless. They've been actively conspiring against me for months, carefully laying groundwork for some kind of financial exploitation. I need to talk to them, I say, though my stomach churns at the thought. Confront them directly and get the truth. Are you sure that's safe? Tyler asks. If they're this calculating, who knows how they'll react? They're my family. Even as I say it, the words feel hollow. What are they going to do? Actually harm me? But that night, lying awake in bed, I question everything I thought I knew about the people I'm related to. Rebecca called the police on me over $4, knowing she was lying. My mother immediately believed the worst without asking for my side. Marcus, Jennifer, even Aunt Dorothy, all participated in this coordinated attack. These aren't actions of people who care about me. These are calculated moves by people who view me as an obstacle to overcome. Friday morning brings an unexpected text from Jennifer. Unlike the others, hers isn't accusatory. Can we talk? Just us? I think you should know what's really happening. I stare at the message, debating whether to respond. Jennifer has always been the kindest of my cousins, the one most likely to remember birthdays and check in during difficult times. But she also participated in the party boycott and sent accusatory texts earlier this week. Okay, when and where? I type back. Coffee shop on Market Street in an hour? I agree and tell Tyler where I'm going. He insists on coming along, sitting at a nearby table where he can intervene if necessary. The precaution feels paranoid until I remember the false police report. Maybe paranoia is justified now. Jennifer arrives exactly on time, looking tired and older than her 37 years. She orders a latte and sits across from me, her fingers fidgeting with her cup sleeve. I'm sorry about Harper's party, she says, without preamble. I wanted to come, but Rebecca said we all needed to send a message. What message? I keep my voice neutral, though my heart is racing. Jennifer looks around the coffee shop, as if checking for eavesdroppers, that you can't keep refusing to help family when they need it. I haven't refused anything. The words come out sharper than intended. Nobody asked me for help until Rebecca demanded $4,000 with no explanation. That's not entirely true. Jennifer pulls out her phone, showing me a series of group chat messages I was never included in. Look, the messages detail a plan that makes my stomach drop. Rebecca's business is failing, deeply in debt, from poor investments and mounting expenses. She needs an immediate cash infusion to avoid bankruptcy. The family decided to pool resources, with me expected to contribute the largest amount due to Tyler's higher income. Why wasn't I part of this conversation, I ask, scrolling through weeks of messages discussing my finances and obligations. Rebecca said you'd say no if we asked directly. Jennifer takes back her phone. She thought if we made you feel guilty enough, you'd volunteer the money without needing to be asked. By boycotting my daughter's birthday party? The anger in my voice makes a nearby couple glance over. That was your strategy for making me want to help? Jennifer has the grace to look ashamed. It sounds terrible when you say it like that. Rebecca promised it would work, that you'd feel so bad you'd offer money to make things right. Except I didn't offer money. I sent $4 and exposed the whole plan, which is why Rebecca filed the police report. Jennifer's voice drops to barely above a whisper. She's panicking, Natalie. Her business is days from bankruptcy. She thought if she could paint you as unstable or criminal, she could contest Dad's will. Dad's will? My father died 6 years ago, leaving a modest estate split between his children. I received my portion years ago, spent on our mortgage down payment and Harper's education fund. Why would Rebecca want to contest it now? Jennifer looks genuinely sorry as she explains. There was a secondary provision in the will. If any beneficiary is found to be mentally incompetent or convicted of a crime, their portion reverts to the remaining siblings. But I already spent my portion. There's nothing to revert. Rebecca thinks there is. She hired a lawyer who said if she could prove you misused your inheritance or obtained it through incompetence, she might be able to claw it back. The audacity of this scheme takes my breath away. My sister isn't just trying to get money from me. She's attempting to invalidate my inheritance, potentially reversing financial transactions from 6 years ago, all to fund her failing business. The police report was step 1. Jennifer continues. Character assassination is step 2. Step 3 was supposed to be getting you declared mentally incompetent, using your grief over Dad's death and claims about financial irresponsibility. Grief over Dad's death? He died 6 years ago. I've been perfectly functional since then. Details don't matter to Rebecca right now. She's desperate. Jennifer reaches across the table, her hand hovering near mine, but not quite touching. Natalie, I'm telling you this because you deserve to know, but also because I'm scared of what she might do next. What do you mean? Rebecca's talking about escalating if the police report doesn't work, maybe claiming you're a danger to Harper, calling Child Protective Services. Mom and Marcus are encouraging her, saying they'll back up whatever story she needs them to tell. The coffee shop suddenly feels too warm, too bright. My own mother is willing to risk my daughter being taken away, all to help my sister salvage a failed business? Why are you telling me this? I asked Jennifer. Why break ranks now? Because I have kids too. Jennifer's eyes fill with tears. What Rebecca did to Harper was cruel, and I participated. I can't live with myself if this goes any further. If they actually try to have your daughter taken away, I'll never forgive myself for being part of it. We sit in silence for a moment. Across the room, Tyler catches my eye, his expression questioning. I give a slight nod, indicating I'm okay. What should I do? The question feels childish, asking my younger cousin for guidance, but I'm drowning in a situation I don't understand. Document everything, Jennifer says firmly. Save all messages, emails, texts, record conversations if you can. Get ahead of their narrative before they can establish it. She stands, leaving her latte mostly untouched. I'm sorry, Natalie, for all of it. I should have been stronger. After she leaves, Tyler comes over. I fill him in on everything Jennifer revealed. His face grows darker with each detail. They're actually planning to call CPS? His voice shakes with fury. To have Harper taken away over money? Apparently, the reality still doesn't feel quite real. My own family would destroy my life and traumatize my daughter to recover an inheritance I already spent years ago. We need a lawyer, Tyler says, not just for defense, but to go on offense. Stop this before it goes any further. That afternoon, we meet with Patricia Martinez, a family law attorney recommended by Tyler's colleague. She listens to our story with increasingly serious expression, taking detailed notes. Mrs. Richardson, your situation is more serious than you might realize. She says when we finish, false police reports are just the beginning. If they actually file for guardianship or competency hearings, you could be tied up in court for years, regardless of whether their claims have merit. But I haven't done anything wrong. The protest sounds weak even to my own ears. That doesn't matter in the short term. Attorney Martinez leans forward. The legal system is slow. Even frivolous cases take time to dismiss. During that time, your reputation suffers, your finances drain, and your family relationships may be permanently damaged. So, what do? Tyler asks. We go on offense. She pulls out a legal pad. First, we document everything your cousin told you today. Second, we file for a restraining order against your sister, based on the false police report and credible threats of further harassment. Third, we sue for defamation based on her lies to law enforcement and family members. Fourth, we prepare a preemptive response in case they actually try to file for competency hearings. The list is overwhelming. All I wanted was to give my daughter a nice birthday party. Now I need restraining orders and defamation suits? I understand this feels like a lot. Attorney Martinez's voice softens. But your family is treating this like a war, and you can't fight back with birthday cake and good intentions. You need to show them there are consequences for their actions. Over the next week, we follow her advice. Formal complaints are filed. Documentation is gathered. I write out everything I can remember, going back years, looking for patterns of manipulation or financial pressure I might have missed. What I discover makes me question my entire relationship with my family. Small requests for money over the years that I accommodated without thinking much about. Birthday gifts that were expected to be cash rather than presents. Holidays where I was expected to host and provide everything while others contributed nothing. A pattern of taking and taking, with me positioned as the family bank account that should always be open. Rebecca's business troubles didn't start recently. She's been hemorrhaging money for over 2 years, constantly looking for investors or loans or family contributions to keep things afloat. I said no to co-signing her business loan 18 months ago, and that's when the dynamic shifted. Suddenly I was selfish, too focused on my own family, not caring about others' struggles. The party boycott wasn't just about making me feel guilty. It was punishment for past refusals and setup for future demands. Harper finds me going through old bank statements at the kitchen table, highlighting every transaction that might be relevant. She sits down across from me, her face more serious than any 16-year-old should be. Mom, I need to tell you something. Her voice wavers. I should have said this earlier, but I was scared. What is it, baby? Aunt Rebecca called me. Last month, she wanted to know about our family finances, about Dad's job, about what we could afford. She said she was planning a surprise for you and needed to know our budget. The revelation makes my pen freeze mid-highlight. Rebecca called my daughter, fishing for financial information, over a month ago. This conspiracy goes back further than I thought. What did you tell her? I try to keep accusation out of my voice. Harper was just trying to help. Nothing specific. Harper's eyes fill with tears. I got a weird feeling about it, so I said I didn't know. She got kind of pushy, asking if I could look at bank statements or credit card bills. That's when I made an excuse and hung up. Why didn't you tell me? Because I thought I was being paranoid. Harper wipes her eyes with her sleeve. She's your sister. I didn't want to cause problems over nothing. I pull her into a hug. You did exactly right by trusting your instincts. I'm proud of you for not giving her information, but if I had told you then, maybe none of this would have happened. Or maybe it would have happened anyway, just differently." I kissed the top of her head. "This isn't your fault. None of it is your fault." That night, I add Harper's testimony to the growing file of documentation. Attorney Martinez calls it building our narrative, creating a comprehensive picture of calculated targeting rather than a family disagreement. The restraining order hearing is scheduled for the following Tuesday. Rebecca will be served on Monday, giving her minimal time to prepare a defense. Attorney Martinez assures me this is strategic, not giving her time to coordinate with the rest of the family or craft an effective counter-narrative. Monday morning, I'm drinking coffee when my phone explodes with messages. Rebecca has apparently been served, and the family response is immediate and vicious. "You're trying to destroy your own sister over $4. From Marcus, "This is unforgivable. You've crossed a line." From my mother, "I hope you're happy ruining Rebecca's life." From Aunt Dorothy, the messages keep coming, each one more dramatic than the last. I'm accused of being vindictive, cruel, mentally unstable, a terrible sister and daughter. Several people claim I'm having some kind of breakdown and need psychiatric help. Attorney Martinez warned me this would happen. The extinction burst, she called it. When you stop accommodating toxic behavior, the behavior escalates before it stops. The family is panicking because their target is finally fighting back. Tyler wants me to turn off my phone, but I keep it on. Screenshot every message. Documentation, just like Attorney Martinez said. Let them create their own evidence of harassment and coordination. By Tuesday morning, I've received 63 messages and 24 voicemails. Not one of them asks for my side of the story. Not one acknowledges what happened to Harper. They've all accepted Rebecca's version without question, exactly as she knew they would. The courtroom is smaller than expected. Just a hearing room, really, with space for the judge, lawyers, and relevant parties. Rebecca sits on the opposite side with her own attorney, her face carefully composed in an expression of wounded innocence. My mother sits behind her, glaring at me with open hostility. Judge Williams is a middle-aged man with tired eyes that suggest he's seen every version of family drama imaginable. He reviews the petition, then looks up at me. "Mrs. Richardson, you're requesting a restraining order against your sister based on false police reports and threats of continued harassment?" "Yes, Your Honor." Attorney Martinez stands. "My client has been the target of a coordinated campaign of defamation and legal harassment. We have extensive documentation of false allegations, witness intimidation, and threats of escalating behavior." For the next hour, Attorney Martinez presents our case. Text messages, emails, Jennifer's testimony about the conspiracy, police reports showing no evidence of wrongdoing, bank records proving the false allegations. She builds a timeline that makes the pattern undeniable. Rebecca's attorney attempts to reframe everything as a family misunderstanding blown out of proportion. He claims his client was simply frustrated about money owed from years ago, that the police report was filed in good faith based on information she believed to be true. But when Rebecca takes the stand to testify, her own words undermine her defense. "Your Honor, my sister has always been difficult," she says, her voice taking on a martyred quality. She refuses to help family when we need it, makes everything about herself and her daughter. I was desperate and made some poor choices, but only because I had no other options. Judge Williams stops writing and looks up. "Ms. Chen, are you saying you deliberately filed a false police report because you were desperate for money?" Rebecca's eyes widen as she realizes her mistake. That's not what I meant, because that's what it sounds like." The judge's voice is mild, but his eyes are sharp. "You've admitted under oath that financial desperation led you to make poor choices regarding a police report." Rebecca's attorney tries to interject, but the judge waves him silent. Attorney Martinez presents more evidence. Harper's testimony about being contacted for financial information, Jennifer's written statement about the conspiracy, the group chat messages discussing strategies to manipulate me. The evidence is overwhelming. Even Rebecca's own attorney looks uncomfortable by the end. Judge Williams makes his ruling without lengthy deliberation. Based on the evidence presented, this court finds clear evidence of harassment, defamation, and abuse of legal processes. A restraining order is granted for a period of 2 years. Ms. Chen is prohibited from contacting Mrs. Richardson directly or indirectly, including through third parties. Furthermore, I'm referring this matter to the District Attorney's Office for possible criminal prosecution of filing a false police report. Rebecca stands abruptly. This is ridiculous. She's my sister. The judge's expression hardens. Ms. Chen, sit down. Your family relationship does not give you the right to harass, defame, or lie to law enforcement about your sister. This court takes false reports very seriously, as they waste limited police resources and can destroy innocent people's lives. After the gavel falls, Rebecca storms out with my mother trailing behind her. Neither looks at me. Attorney Martinez squeezes my shoulder. That went very well, she says. The judge's referral to the DA means Rebecca could face criminal charges. That should discourage any further attacks. What about the rest of my family, I ask. They're not covered by the restraining order. Not yet. But if they harass you on Rebecca's behalf, that violates the order. Document everything and report violations immediately. Outside the courthouse, Marcus is waiting. His face is red with fury. As he approaches, "You're really going to do this? Press charges against your own sister?" Tyler steps between us. "Back off, Marcus. Your sister filed false police reports and tried to have Natalie declared incompetent. These are consequences of her own actions." Marcus glares at him. "You've always been the problem, turning Natalie against her family." Attorney Martinez intervenes. "Mr. Morrison, I'd advise you to leave immediately. Any harassment of my client could result in additional legal action." Marcus looks between the three of us, his face twisted with rage. "You'll regret this, all of you." After he leaves, Attorney Martinez makes notes on her phone. That was a threat, witnessed by multiple people. I'm documenting it in case we need to extend the protective order. The next few days bring a strange kind of peace. My phone is quiet for the first time in weeks. No angry texts, no demanding calls, no manipulation attempts. The silence feels simultaneously freeing and sad. Harper notices the change. "Is it over?" she asks one evening while we're making dinner together. "Are they finally leaving us alone?" I think so. The restraining order makes it risky for them to keep harassing us. "Do you miss them?" Her question is careful, like she's testing dangerous ground. I miss who I thought they were. The honest answer surprises me, but I don't miss who they actually are. 2 weeks after the hearing, Jennifer reaches out again. "Just checking in. Things have been quiet on my end, too. Rebecca's business filed for bankruptcy, and she's not speaking to anyone who won't loan her money." Part of me feels guilty about Rebecca's business failure, even though I know intellectually that her poor decisions caused it, not my refusal to enable them. But years of conditioning don't disappear overnight. Attorney Martinez helps me work through these feelings. "Your family taught you that their problems were your responsibility to fix," she explains. "That's a lie they told to make you easier to exploit." Rebecca's business failed because she made bad choices, not because you didn't bail her out. The truth of her words settles slowly. Like sediment after a storm, I've spent my adult life feeling responsible for my family's happiness, their success, their comfort. Saying no felt like failure on my part, not boundaries being set. Christmas approaches, traditionally a time when my extended family gathers at my mother's house. This year, the invitation never comes. I'm not sure if I'm relieved or hurt by the exclusion. Tyler suggests we start our own traditions, just our little family of 3. Harper enthusiastically agrees, and we spend December planning a Christmas that's entirely ours. No obligation gifts for people who don't appreciate them. No hosting duties for ungrateful relatives. Just us, doing exactly what makes us happy. On Christmas morning, Harper comes downstairs to find the tree surrounded by carefully chosen presents, each one selected specifically for her interests and preferences. Her face lights up in a way I haven't seen since before her birthday party. "This is the best Christmas ever," she says, hugging both of us. No drama, no people who don't want to be here, just us. Tyler and I exchange glances over her head. She's learned hard lessons this year about family, about loyalty, about who really cares. Lessons no 16-year-old should need to learn, but perhaps lessons that will protect her in the future. New Year brings unexpected news. Attorney Martinez calls to inform me that Rebecca is being prosecuted for filing a false police report. The district attorney's office reviewed the evidence and decided to proceed, despite Rebecca's claims of misunderstanding. Do I have to testify? The thought of facing Rebecca in criminal court makes my stomach churn. Possibly, but the case is strong, even without your testimony. The documented evidence speaks for itself. I spend the next few weeks in limbo, waiting to see if I'll be called. Meanwhile, life slowly returns to something approaching normal. Harper throws herself into school with renewed energy. Tyler gets a promotion at work. I start reconnecting with friends I'd neglected, realizing how much of my energy had been drained by managing family drama. One afternoon, I'm having coffee with a college friend I haven't seen in years. I tell her about everything that happened, expecting shock or sympathy. Instead, she nods knowingly. "Your family always seemed exhausting," she says bluntly. "Every time we'd make plans, something would come up with your sister or your mom, and you'd have to cancel or leave early. I stopped inviting you to things because I knew you'd prioritize their manufactured emergencies over actual friendships." Her words sting, but they're true. How many friendships did I sacrifice on the altar of family obligation? How many opportunities did I miss because someone needed something? "I'm different now," I tell her. "I'm learning to set boundaries." "Good." She squeezes my hand. "You deserve to have a life that's actually yours." The criminal trial date is set for March. Attorney Martinez prepares me for possible testimony, running through questions the prosecutor might ask. I'm nervous, but also oddly calm. The truth is on my side. All I have to do is tell it. Rebecca's attorney tries one last manipulation, sending a letter suggesting I could avoid trial by dropping my cooperation with the prosecution. In exchange, Rebecca would agree to stay away permanently. "It's a trap," Attorney Martinez warns. "They want you to interfere with prosecution, which could get you in trouble. Ignore it completely." So I do. The letter goes into our evidence file, another example of attempted manipulation. The night before the trial, Harper asks if she can attend. "I want to see Aunt Rebecca face consequences." She says, "I want to watch someone actually hold her accountable." Tyler and I debate this. Is it appropriate for a 16-year-old to watch her aunt's criminal trial? But Harper argues persuasively that she deserves to see the end of something she lived through. The courtroom is more crowded than I expected. Apparently, filing false police reports is taken seriously enough to merit a full trial. Rebecca sits at the defense table, looking smaller than I remember, her usual confidence replaced by visible anxiety. The prosecutor presents the case methodically. My bank records, Rebecca's bank records, the text messages, the police investigation showing no evidence of theft. Detective Mitchell testifies about the investigation, her professional demeanor making Rebecca's lies seem even more calculated. When I take the stand, I'm surprisingly calm. The prosecutor asks straightforward questions about my relationship with Rebecca. The money request? My response? I answer honestly, without embellishment or drama. Rebecca's attorney tries to paint me as vindictive, someone holding a grudge over past family disagreements. But the evidence doesn't support his narrative. Every claim he makes is contradicted by documented facts. The jury deliberates for less than 2 hours. When they return, the verdict is unanimous. Guilty of filing a false police report. Judge Thompson, different from Judge Williams, but equally stern, addresses Rebecca directly. Ms. Chen, you wasted law enforcement resources on a personal vendetta against your sister. You attempted to have an innocent woman arrested and potentially criminally charged. This court takes such abuse of the legal system very seriously. He sentences her to 6 months in county jail, suspended pending completion of probation and community service. She's also ordered to pay restitution for the cost of the police investigation. Rebecca starts crying, her attorney putting a comforting hand on her shoulder. My mother, sitting in the gallery, glares at me with undisguised hatred, but Harper, sitting beside me, squeezes my hand. Justice, she whispers. Outside the courthouse, reporters are waiting. Apparently, the case attracted some local media attention, framed as an example of family manipulation and abuse of law enforcement resources. Mrs. Richardson, how do you feel about the verdict? One reporter calls out. I stop, considering my answer carefully. I feel validated. False accusations are serious. They can destroy lives and reputations. I'm grateful the legal system took this seriously and found the truth. Will you reconcile with your sister? That's not my decision to make. Reconciliation requires accountability and change. Right now, I'm focused on protecting my daughter and rebuilding our lives. The quote makes the evening news. Tyler records it, playing it back while we eat takeout Chinese food on the living room floor. You sounded strong, Harper says, like someone who knows their worth. I'm learning. The honest answer feels right. I spent a long time not knowing my worth. Your birthday party taught me I needed to change that. Harper leans against my shoulder. I'm sorry it took something so awful to get here. Me too, baby. But maybe some lessons only come through fire. The next few weeks bring unexpected consequences. Several family members reach out, not with apologies, but with justifications. They claim they didn't know the full story, were misled by Rebecca, would have acted differently if they'd known the truth. I listened to their excuses with detachment. Whether they knew the full story or not, they participated in coordinating against me and Harper. They chose sides without asking questions. That tells me everything I need to know about their character. Only Jennifer makes a genuine apology. She visits our home, bringing flowers and a card for Harper that's 2 months late. I'm so sorry I missed your birthday, she tells Harper directly. That was cruel, and I'll regret it for the rest of my life. Harper accepts the apology with grace, beyond her years. Thank you for saying that. It means more than you know. Jennifer and I talk for hours that afternoon, rebuilding a relationship that might survive if carefully tended. She's the only family member who seems to understand that trust, once broken, requires active work to repair. Spring arrives with a sense of new beginnings. The restraining order remains in effect. Rebecca completes her community service in sullen silence, posting occasional social media updates about being persecuted by family members who don't understand struggle. I stop following her accounts, stop checking what my mother posts, stop monitoring Marcus's angry rants about loyalty and blood. Their version of reality exists independently of truth, and I no longer have the energy to care. Harper's 17th birthday approaches with a mix of excitement and anxiety. She wants a party, but she's nervous about inviting people after what happened last year. We'll invite only people who actually care about you. I promise. Quality over quantity. The guest list is small, but genuine. Her closest school friends, Tyler's parents, who drove 8 hours to attend, Jennifer and her family, Angela, our neighbor who brought casseroles during the worst of everything, my college friend who called me out on years of family enabling. 15 people gather in our backyard on a sunny May afternoon. No one cancels. No one makes excuses. They show up because they want to be there, because Harper matters to them. Watching Harper blow out 17 candles, surrounded by people who chose to celebrate her, I realized something profound. Family isn't about blood or obligation. It's about showing up when it matters. It's about love that doesn't come with conditions or hidden prices. The chosen family we've built may be smaller than the one I was born into, but it's infinitely more valuable. Later that night, after everyone has left and Harper is in bed, Tyler and I sit on the porch swing, watching fireflies dance in the darkness. "Do you regret anything?" he asks. "How it all turned out?" I think about his question carefully. I regret that Harper got hurt. I regret years of accepting treatment I should have challenged earlier. But the outcome? No. I don't regret finally standing up for myself and my daughter. Good. He pulls me closer. Because watching you find your strength this past year has been incredible. The restraining order expires next spring. I have no idea what happens then, whether Rebecca will try to contact me, whether my mother will attempt reconciliation, whether the extended family will ever acknowledge their role in what happened. But I know this: I'm not the same person who desperately tried to please everyone, who sacrificed my own needs and my daughter's happiness to maintain family peace. That woman is gone, burned away by betrayal and rebuilt through necessity. In her place is someone stronger, someone who understands that real love doesn't manipulate or exploit, someone who knows that protecting your child sometimes means cutting off the people who hurt them, even when those people share your DNA. Harper will never have to learn these lessons the way I did. She's seen firsthand the difference between people who show up and people who make excuses, between those who love conditionally and those who choose to care without expectation of return. That's the gift that came from all this pain. My daughter knows her worth. She'll never spend decades trying to earn love from people incapable of giving it freely. And maybe that's enough. Maybe that's everything. The fireflies continue their dance as Tyler and I sit in comfortable silence. Somewhere in the darkness, a new chapter is beginning. One written on our own terms, in our own words, without asking permission from people who never had our best interests at heart. The $4 transfer that started everything sits in my bank history like a monument. $4 that exposed years of manipulation. $4 that forced me to see truth I'd been avoiding. $4 that bought me freedom from family members who viewed me as nothing more than a resource to be exploited. Best $4 I ever spent. And as the last firefly disappears into the night, I finally understand what my family never could. Real strength isn't about holding on to relationships that damage you. It's about having the courage to let them go. My name is Natalie Richardson. I'm 41 years old, and for the first time in my life, I'm exactly who I want to be. Not who my family expected, not who they demanded, just me, standing in my truth, protecting my daughter, living a life I'm proud of. That's not just survival, that's victory.